And here's what we're going to be making today, these beautiful hot cross buns. Alright, let's get cooking. Now here's the book that we'll be taking the recipe from today, the Good Housekeeping's Cookery Compendium, 1957. Now please be aware that there may be some confronting images and some disturbing themes in this 1957 cookbook. I'll just read you a little bit of the introduction. Here, in one handsome volume, is a true home cooking companion. It is produced with an eye to the needs of every member of the family and presented in an attractive pictorial form so that young daughters can be shown all the basic processes of cookery, and mothers can embark on ambitious recipes in the certain knowledge of success. Well, doesn't that want to make you get in the kitchen and become a roaring success in front of the stove? Well, let's get on and have a look at the recipe. Now here's the recipe itself, and as you can see, a glorious picture of the finished product, the hot cross buns. Right, let's get into my version of the recipe. Now my version of the recipe is exactly the same as the version in the book, except I've converted it to metric so that we can all make this beautiful recipe. Now firstly, in with 210 mils of water, then 210 mils of low-fat milk. Now we're going to add 115 grams of caster sugar. Now we're going to give it a stir and then microwave it for around about 30 seconds. Then we're going to add a sachet of 7 grams of active dry yeast. Now we'll give it a good stir in to combine it with the liquid. Once it's been left for 5 or 10 minutes and starts to foam on the top like this, it's ready to use. Right, now I can add it to my bread making bin. Once it's in here, I can add my flour. Now it's 800 grams of flour, so I'm going to add it a cup at a time. Once I've done that, we'll come back and start adding the rest of the ingredients. Right, now we're going to add half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. Right, I've put that in my bread maker, and now we can melt 115 grams of butter. And I mean just barely melt. It can't be hot because it's going to have eggs added to it. Now, as you can see, the bread maker's doing its thing, combining those ingredients. So we can now add our melted butter and 2 eggs. Right, sorry, that was just the melted butter. Here's the 2 eggs going in. Now we'll want to knead this for around about 15 minutes. So after 10 minutes, you can add the fruit in. So I'm just measuring out 170 grams of fruit cake mix to add in. And now here we are, adding in our fruit cake mix into the bread maker while it's still going. Right, let's turn this out now, once it's all kneaded, onto a lightly floured breadboard. And after a little bit of manipulating, form your dough into a ball So this has got a big ball of dough, and just pull it from the top of the middle to the underneath and keep working your way around the dough until you get that ball of dough that you want. Then in a bowl, lightly oil that and place the ball of dough in the bowl, and then cover it with a tea towel and leave it to rise for around about an hour. And here it is after having been left to rise for about an hour, and it looks magnificent. This is all ready now to divide into 4 pieces. Right, there we are. Let's I don't know what to do with this. Wow. Let's just get all the air out of it first. And while I've got it nice and big, I'm going to cut it into 4 parts. The smaller it is, or the higher it is, the less accurate your division is going to be. Right, so let's just park this one. I don't want to get too much flour on it. I don't want it to stick either, but okay, I think we can pretty much get that half. Let's bring our bowl back, put that one in there, oops, put that one in there, don't know whether you can see that or not, and then this other one, and I don't know whether you can see me. And there we are. So we've got 4 bits, and we're going to make 6 hot cross buns from each of these. Alright? And we're going to put it into this baking pan here. So, and I'm hoping to form a 6x4 pattern in it. So let's get this divided into 3. And then in half. Right. Now I've got 24 of these to do. So I'll come back when I've done them and put them in the baking tray. Right, there's all 24 of them now. I'm going to cover this with a cloth, and in about half an hour I'll turn the oven up to 180 degrees. And here's what they look like after an hour. Right, the recipe says to cut crosses into the top of them, but that actually makes them flat. So what I've done is I've actually cut crosses into about 7 of them, and we'll see how they turn out compared with the rest. Right, now let's put these into the oven. Around about the middle will do. After about 12 to 15 minutes, mine were done in the oven and looking spectacular. Can't wait to taste these. Right, As you can see, I'm about to put on an extremely generous amount of butter onto one of these hot cross buns that I've chopped in half, and we'll give it a nice taste, shall we? Wow, that is amazing. They taste so beautiful. For a 1957 recipe, this is a 2024 taste. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this. It's been interesting actually, cooking an old recipe like this, wondering how it's going to turn out, and I'm just so pleased they turned out perfectly. Rightio, catch you on my next recipe.